That's not a party hat. That's like a party whistle, or like
It's a party blower.
Party horn.
Well, I
Party
can't
blower.
see mine. Oh, they're all over you, Benny. Why are they all
Usually
over
you pay extra for that kind of action.
Because I guess I'm the party blower. God damn it, not again!
JP, please play 5 seconds of Blow the Whistle by Too Short. If this were Belligerent Beavs 4 years ago.
We're staying at a legal
I don't know how long we're gonna be staying out of legal trouble given the crazy times. But what up? This is episode 199 Belligerent Beavs podcast. A little bit delayed. We wanted to do 200 episodes by Christmas, and that didn't happen. No.
Are we at 200 now?
This is
it's 199. You guys remember the Denny's commercial? 199 out of your mind? No?
We're out of our mind.
You don't remember that phrase? We are out of our mind.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. You had to has to be clicking somewhere.
What was 199 though? Was it the Grand Slam breakfast?
I don't know.
Probably the Grand Slam.
Maybe.
I remember two eggs, two pancakes, 2 pieces of bacon, and 2 sausages.
2 slices of toast.
$1.99 might get you 1 pancake.
I don't think that could not have been $1.99. That's like the Deuces
pancake.
That is
Marathon Taverna.
The Deuces at Marathon on East Burnside.
No, West Burnside.
West Burnside. Sorry, West Burnside. When was the last time any of us have been there? Have we checked to see if inflation has affected the marathon?
Not really.
Look at the menu right now.
I got breakfast.
I'm looking at,
but I got €1 for breakfast.
They don't have the Deuces.
Well,
it's gone.
That can't be.
They have a triple double, which is the exact same thing, and it's $5. 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, or 2 sausage links, 2 slices of white wheat or sourdough toast.
Talk.
Yeah,
Back
well,
in the day
this
was
is literally
and Wait, Benny, what did you pay for the breakfast? What did you pay for the breakfast euro when you were there recently?
I don't remember, but I remember that it was like cheap. Yeah,
$8. That's not that cheap. It's not Deuces cheap.
It's not Deuces cheap, but it was cheaper than what I usually pay for food. No,
so
at one point, Anastas was like, "You're a Vikings fan. You're coming this bar to watch Christian Ponder play quarterback for the Vikings. We're gonna pay you to be here."
Yeah,
and there was one day where he just didn't charge me.
Breakfast. It's your negative deuce.
Here's a running credit that you have. There's $100 on it, and that will go a long way at this bar at this time because
here's your 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, and 2 sausage links, and 2 slices of white toast, and 2 slices of wheat toast, and 2 slices of sourdough toast, and $2 for free.
The only thing I wish
I don't know if it was ever that much
toast,
but we could have asked for it, especially when Shannon was working. Shout out Shannon.
Oh yeah, shout out Shannon.
Shannon the goat.
Do you guys remember that time when Funky Paul Molina really embarrassed me at Marathon where I was like, is Shannon working? And he's like,
what
really
fucking time, Benny? That was all we do.
Really like
every single time any of us went there, someone really embarrassed the other. That's like, do you remember that time we went to Marathon and we got pictures? Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Or
I remember
the blood alcohol breathalyzer? Really that was my favorite challenge. That. Oh, you don't remember that?
The breathalyzer in the arcade area, the breathalyzer game.
Yeah, you take the little straw out and you take out the paper and you put it in the hole and then you blow in there and you pay like $2. You can get a real party blower.
Paid money to see what blood alcohol level you would.
Yeah,
I would pay that.
But one time I did it and I was like, I'm good. Like, I feel good. And like, I blew it and it was like, middle.
And if you got the highest, you won.
Yeah. And Skins did it. Super secret producer Skinner did it. And it like went so high, like the level was like near death or something.
Right. It was like your blood
foam in a cup.
He was like, it's 310% alcohol right now.
It was in the morning.
The moral of the story is it wasn't reliable machinery being used at
I think
the marathon.
Maybe it was. It was scientific. It was scientific. It was accurate. Like,
it was certainly scientific to a point.
Do you know how much money the Peacock would make if they had that?
So much money. More money they'd make with a punch bag machine.
They have a punch bag machine?
Dude, the punch bag machines are...
Well, yeah, you know, the...
Oh, yeah.
I did one in San Francisco last week.
I made fun of guys who did that in bars for years, and then one time I did it, and I was like, fuck, this feels awesome.
They have like $10. I need all the reps I can get right now.
When you unload that much, like, aggression, and it's especially, you know, it's like, oh, I didn't realize I had that in me. It's just hit this as hard as you can, and then you just, like, see, like, the number tick up for a while, like... Oh, it's exhilarating.
It just keeps going. You're like, ooh, yeah, yeah. And then you think you've had you land a good one, and it's like 600, and you're like, that's bad.
That's bad.
But,
have you ever got a $9.99 on it?
No,
probably
but a
not.
$1.99 out of your mind,
or a $9.99.
I got a $1.99 on it, and that means free $1.99 at Denny's.
Yeah, and you're out of your mind.
Free $1.99 at Denny's.
Yeah, it's a $2 value, but you have to play $2 to play, so it's a real scam.
Yeah,
Trump came up with it.
Is it though? Is it though? I mean, think about it. The fun.
It's the least scammy scam of his.
It was the original tariff.
In half.
That's where it was invented.
You're an original tariff. You're tariff horseman.
Tariff horseman. No, let's not start that. Man. When like it's Tariff Horseman's evil twin brother is Tariff Horseman. When they start putting tariffs on being on the terrace. And so then Terrace and Tariff have to go to war, and only one of them can win.
No tariffs on the terrace.
On the terrace.
No tariffs on the
terrace. Not until at least we have a winning
Yeah.
season.
We got our new merch line. No tariffs.
If you could just play tariffs on like a championship season, then yeah, sign me up. What's it take?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I could.
What's it take, Mark
I
Cuban?
could really use.
Tell us. Mark Cuban.
Right. There was as we're talking. I don't know when this will go up, but it is the late evening of Wednesday, January 1st. A couple days ago, the Indiana
2020
Hoosiers
here
won. Happy New Year, belatedly. The Indiana Hoosiers are yours and our national champions. Shout out to dear friend of the pod, Aaron Balake, Aaron Stevens. Proud IU grad, and also
proud
ask
where he got
Oregon State supporter. Don't
ask where he got the tattoo. The tattoo of the national championship trophy tatted.
Has he gotten the Natty trophy tatted yet? He has to do it. He has to do it somewhere.
He has to do it.
I think he's still considering your nominations of where he should do it.
I will say this, and I'm not going to talk about the exact tattoo ideas. I don't know what year
or location
this started. Was this just when it went from the BCS to the college football playoff, which was 2014, 2015, that the trophy changed from the crystal football to like the very tall golden highlighter marker football?
Yep.
I don't, as far as trophies go, I don't hate the current one. I think that crystal football was a little bit classier,
way
more
better,
dignified. I liked it more. The current one is such a phallic trophy. It is impossible for like football guys not to be sexual about it. And it comes on that stand that you like pull it off
trophy,
and it has that like tiny thing that it's like, oh, this would
tiny thing.
At the bottom,
how dare you?
Clearly,
how dare you?
One might call it a plug. It's plug shaped. The trophy plugs into its stand.
Well, as the party blower, I'll try it.
Of course, the party blower will try anything. What does the Pac-12 trophy look like, JP? This is an Oregon State podcast. You know, none of us know what that trophy looks like. Boom, self-burn.
Yeah, what does it look like?
We still got it.
Is that it's like curves up?
No, it's a split V with a little football knob on the top.
Oh, now if you got the Pac-12 trophy and the national championship trophy,
then you could teach sex ed
babies
easily.
Yeah.
Then you could teach sex ed at the end of season 5 of Stranger Things, like Steve Harrington.
Yeah, so what a come up!
Absolutely.
Spoiler.
Not really a spoiler. Steve doesn't die, Sarah. I guess is the only spoiler. You probably could have guessed that, though.
He's just teaching sex ed.
Yeah.
Don't know.
With great hair.
Some people would rather be dead, but some people maybe prefer.
Wait, you haven't seen any Stranger Things or just the last season?
No, none.
And
I watch
my
a
kids
lot
are
of
watching
TV.
it right now. My
I watch
kids
so much
are watching
true crime.
it now.
This
is like not true crime. It's perfect.
No, it's definitely not true crime. Benny, I think you would like Stranger Things.
Yeah, I do too. You like the 80s? Remember 80s night at Crystal Ballroom?
You do love the 80s.
Remember that?
I love 80s night.
Super duper sci-fi is not your thing, but it's one of those shows that like transcends genre a bit.
But it also doesn't start that way.
How well it's done. It doesn't start that way necessarily.
It starts like a Stephen King.
Yeah, it's very Stephen King
horror film.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it also is like it's
probably
like the last show that's gonna like truly master like blockbuster television with like long, big, massive episodes. And I don't know if we're gonna get that again with a show.
It'll be a long time till the 80s are done well again.
It will be a long time
until
the 80s
are
done
well.
The
80s have aged out. We're showing our age that we love the 80s
music
that we
in
were
the
born
series finale, Benny, would make you like it's like several hours of television to get through the 5 seasons, like a lot. But the last hour is probably your 6 favorite 80s songs, all playing crucial plot points used perfectly. And it's unreal that they pull it off.
Give me, I want to know what you think.
Perfectly?
One song is Purple Rain by Prince. So I know you're
well, that's your favorite 80s song.
Okay, another one is Heroes by David Bowie.
Oh, I've been listening to a lot of David Bowie. A lot.
Dude, I fucking love
David Bowie lately. Yeah.
See,
Dude,
so start Stranger Things. I know you work at 5 a.m. tomorrow, but watch season 1 of Stranger Things tonight. By the time it's done, it'll be time to go to work.
The best part is you don't have to wait like 7 years to watch the whole series like anyone else you watch.
It was a 10-year thing. That's crazy.
You can watch it in
that's a good point.
Literally like 2 weeks.
Right.
I just finished. Well, not
you
just finished, but I watched it. It's All Her Fault. Have you guys seen that?
No.
On Peacock?
No.
Peacock. Dude, it's All Her Fault. Is that a show or a movie?
It's a show. It only has, I think, 6 episodes. But
it's got the guy with the nose.
After Succession, which is my favorite show.
7.
That is number 2. That's my number 2 favorite show that I've ever watched in my entire life.
What's the name of it one more time?
It's All Her Fault.
It's All Her Fault.
Yeah.
After 6-7.
So good. After 6-7.
I made a 6-7 joke and I hate it. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
It's All Her Fault.
Yeah.
I'll add it to the list.
It's All Her Fault. Do it. You should watch it sooner rather than later, and you can thank me later.
Try.
Or you can thank me now.
I will thank you.
Thank you
for the suggestion.
Yeah.
And I'll thank you again if I like it.
Yeah.
If I use it.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to thank Denny's for the $1.99 out of your mind, because that is the sponsor of our episode.
Thanks, Denny's.
It's All His Fault could be the title of a show about Scott Barnes in the current state of Oregon.
Yeah. Wow.
I couldn't really. I don't even agree that it's all his fault, but I do think it's a lot of his fault.
Partially his fault.
Mostly. Should we start talking about Oregon State football? Guys, I'm going to be honest. I think everyone should be honest here. Haven't been paying a ton of attention to the transfer portal or the coaching carousel.
Not great.
You may have noticed there's something of what I will call a Nazi occupation of the town where I live. Appreciate Benny showing solidarity with the sweatshirt and my Woody Page. I realized the only time I've done this is fuck Jamal Murray and fuck Luka Doncic and now fuck Ice.
I think
which I realize
this might be a
makes
little
me
bit more
think
important.
I've been a little too harsh on Luka Doncic and Jamal Murray, who have never actively tried to murder my neighbors or kidnap my neighbors.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Hey, you don't know what Luka's up to?
We don't know. We don't know what either of them are up to, but also they are immigrants working in this country and at least upping the talent level of the NBA. And for that, I appreciate them. But the official stance of the Belligerent Beavs podcast is fuck ICE and anyone who stands.
Wait, is Jamal Murray not from the U.S.?
He's Canadian.
I didn't know that.
Played college at Kentucky. I'm sure he has. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, now there's only one country between U.S. and Greenland, and it's Canada.
And they're so different than us. They are so different.
Everything is so normal and not stupid. So I know we hired a defensive coordinator, which is exciting.
I thought we had hired one before.
We did hire one before. Maybe we could get into that whole thing too, but I am actually quite excited for this defense coordinator hire part.
He was the head coach of Colorado for like 7 years.
And Pac-12
lots
coach of the
experience. Year. Pac-12 coach of the year winner. I think it's further belief and buy-in from the greater college football coaching world into what JaMarcus Shephard is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much will reiterate what I said probably in our last episode and the episode before, that I am very excited about the direction the program is in right now. I'm excited about the people at the helm. I'm cautiously optimistic about the amount of fruit it will come to bear in year one. I'm not expecting any kind of miracle work here. If we're a bowl eligible team in year one, I will be quite happy with it. But maybe they could be even better.
In shock.
But I see a vision. I see a plan. It doesn't look like it's, just like people who are joining the staff who have like, oh yeah, like this person's going to be great, or of like potential, whatever. It's like people who have, like, as you said, JP, been at quite a high level for a number of years with a sustained track record of success. So I think
it's different than just hiring guys on the up and coming, which I think there's
like a position coach. It's like, oh, the guys like them. It's like,
so we're gonna promote them, or we're gonna give them their shot at more responsibility.
Yeah, you don't need that
a new school, new program,
right?
Yeah, but I also have to caution on the whole idea of like on the slide side, right? Like they might, like, do you want someone on the up, or do you want someone with experience that's on the slide? I think it's fair to criticize both for a variety of reasons, and there's probably a perfect makeup of what you should have on a staff that would work to make the program a success. However, I do really, really like the MacIntyre hire, because at this stage, I didn't think we were going to get a guy that had really any experience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the dust is already settled, and where we're at to try to draw anyone to coach, you're looking at with this time of the year and where we're at, like you're looking at, like, let's go get a linebackers coach. Like, let's go get a D-line coach and promote them. And the fact that we got a guy that has defensive coordinator experience, head coaching experience, that's a win. Now, I'll put it out here not to get negative, but also just for the sake of discussion, other than at like UT Martin, he has been a defensive coordinator for essentially every program that he's been a defensive coordinator for exactly a year. Now, most of those times that he left for a better defensive coordinator role, I guess. UT Martin, he left after 3 years to go to Temple.
Did he leave the previous program in shambles and also a controversial probe? # Brent Blaylock.
No, at least not as far as I can see. But he did, for the most part,
no
leave
one said that guy's name
positions.
in 2 months, so I had to bring it back. Sorry.
Yeah, Brent, come on the pod. You're still welcome to come talk it out.
He was most recently at FIU, right?
He was at FIU after leaving Memphis after a year as their defensive coordinator, and before that, he was Duke's defensive coordinator for a year, and then left to go to San Jose State, or I guess 2 years, but still.
There is a right time for that kind of vagabond hire, and you don't know it until afterwards.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it could be a disaster, but even if it doesn't work, it's a good year in which to do it.
Yeah, because I think that the guidance and the experience would be extremely helpful for a staff that's like it's looking pretty good on paper, but you also are like realizing we're piecing a lot of this together with people who are once again inexperienced, which was the same concern about the last staff. So, we thought Aki was coming in on, Trent Bray's staff this last year, and his title was long. And the thought was he would kind of take the CEO responsibilities from Bray, help a little bit on defense, etc., especially as Bray was splitting duties. But having somebody come in that can fill that same role, but actually has like a dominant or a prominent role on the staff as a defensive coordinator, I think is a big win. And that's why I think this is a great hire. I just am curious to see, is this his way to come back from a defensive analyst at Mississippi State to a defensive coordinator to another head coaching opening? Maybe. Will that help, rub off enough experience in a year or two to benefit this staff going forward? Maybe. But for right now, like you're saying, Terry, right now where we're at, this is a good hire. And I think that this will be extremely beneficial for next season.
Well, and it's helpful for JaMarcus too. Just the things that he hasn't done is he hasn't been an in-game play caller, and he hasn't been someone who, I'm not going to say he hasn't made in-game adjustments, but hasn't occupied a position where the in-game adjustments, fall on his responsibility in the public discourse. And with being in a head coaching position, that's a new form of pressure. So just having another mind on that staff who's been through that gauntlet is helpful, because I can't even imagine what that's like. None of us can. And even if someone who may or may not, like, there's a lot to learn from being a head coach at one point and it like not working out. Like, you learn a lot more from failure than you do from success. So just having someone with that level of head coaching experience who's just coached in a lot of places too, like, he's seen a lot of the country, a lot of different styles of play. And obviously we're not in a spot where we're like, Oregon State's coming off a 2-10 season. It's a full restart, full rebuild. So I don't think we would there's anyone they could have hired unless it was like, I don't know, Mark Banker. If they brought him back to be like, hey, it's 2008 again. Not that, Banker wasn't a good defensive coordinator 20 years ago, but I think we would have been open to a lot of different possibilities.
That would have been great.
I mean, I don't think anyone would have been mad about Trent Bray. I am a little mad that he's just at Wazoo right away.
Wazoo?
Not because I don't want good things for him, but it's like it's going to be awkward next year. Like, we have to see him immediately.
Well, Wazoo's pulling in a lot of ex-Oregon State people.
Yeah, they are.
Sure. Bray's dad Bray's dad played for the Cougs, and he grew up in Pullman. There's a little bit more of a connection there. And but Darius Clemens heading there is, it kind of felt like there is a lot of testiness on the field in both of those games. It's also weird when, just 2 regular season games between teams, things can boil over a little bit, but it seems like a lot of guys were at least impressed enough. I know it's a different coaching staff with, Jimmy Rogers leaving for the Iowa State job, but it'll be some familiar faces on that Coug sideline. And
graduate assistant. They brought in a bunch of dudes. Alton Julian's grad assistant.
Oh, yeah, I saw,
Wazoo as well. I mean,
which is dope. I'm so happy for Alton that he's got that position.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously there's our connections they have, I presume, with Bray, but
it's just going to be weird.
It's going to be weird. But it's also, it almost feels like some of it is intentional somewhere. And there might be a trickle down. There might be people that are just taking opportunity. But
sure, like 5% of it
feels intentional.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and real quick,
if you're Bray, because Bray had options, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. He was a good defensive coordinator. Like,
so, what do you think weighed heavier for him in this decision about Wazoo? Was it going home, or was it to see Oregon State every season?
I think it was going home. But I do think that he probably has a bone to pick with Oregon State.
2 things can be true scenario. Like, he also knows the region. He's from here. He's recruited it well. He's put pretty good defenses together with mostly West Coast and Northwest guys, and it's just a fit. And then also it's like, yeah, the program that just fired, the program that put you in an impossible position that, and again, this is where I will maybe talk out of both sides of my mouth a little bit. Like, he said yes to an impossible position. The program also put him in an impossible position. Kind of all of the fans wanted him in that impossible position because we we saw like, okay, we're going to get through this insurmountable task with our homegrown Trent Bray leading us, and it went terribly. So I have no issue with him being like, hey, yeah, I can stick it to Oregon State a little bit, or I'll get that chance to stick it to Oregon State a little bit. But
I think that he's going to do what's best
beyond that. Like, I don't think
he's going to do what's best for his career. Like that,
yeah, it's a good job.
DC it is a good job. Well, yeah, he's gonna do what's best for his career for sure, and
family,
I think
his life, not have to uproot and move that far or out of an area that you're not familiar with, or into an area you're not familiar with.
Well, real quick, going back to the MacIntyre hire, I agree with what you guys said, but to play devil's advocate, it could backfire in the sense that
MacIntyre
you have
hire could backfire.
You have
spitting
JaMarcus Shephard,
dude. I know we took 6 weeks off, but come on.
He's a new coach in my defense.
He's a new coach. We're still getting to know.
The second I said that, I knew it was wrong.
JaMarcus Shephard, that's not a guy. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you make your point.
Okay.
That was like a great player in college football or NCAA football 06.
Yeah. The high school. Yeah. So, okay. So he is a first-time head coach. He shared defensive coordinator role, but I think that it was, he probably had offensive coordinator. Jesus Christ. I am rusty. Offensive coordinator. But I think like he had the lesser role of that. So when you come in, first-time head coach, trying to learn the ropes, and you have someone who's working under you that was a head coach for a really long time, the balance of power can be tricky to navigate. And I think JaMarcus Shephard has the personality to navigate that. But, if you're MacIntyre, like, how much do you push on like, oh, well, I did this as a head coach and it worked? And if you're JaMarcus Shephard, like, how much are you willing to listen to that?
Sure.
So I do think
question, especially if his exit strategy is to leverage this coordinator role to another head coaching role, that puts another wrinkle in the same thing that you're saying people should consider, though, Benny, because like, if that is what he's trying to do and he's trying to prove himself to be still like, a good football mind and a good leader, like there's toes that get stepped on then.
Well, I think that's more important for like thinking about it like externally, because they can handle all of that amongst themselves and we won't know if they're doing a good job. If the other coaches are empowering JaMarcus the way they should be until probably at least a year or two down the line. But where I fear for the fan base, because everyone's talking about like, oh, this schedule was like, we started so hard and this will be like, that was the last year that we have to do this thing. Like, this schedule upcoming isn't going to be a cakewalk either. And we open at Houston and then with Texas Tech at home. So if you go on the road and get dog walked in your first game and it's the third quarter and you're losing to Texas Tech 30-0, even amongst Oregon State might be one of the most patient fan bases in this business, but that's going to be an uncomfortable moment.
I don't think so.
And an uncomfortable week going into week 3.
Yep. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think the Oregon State fan base is going to be patient anymore. I think there's a lot, there's a lot of vitriol still towards the athletic department, and JaMarcus Shephard will get the benefit of the doubt. But I think that Oregon State fans were far enough removed from those successful seasons that it feels like it's the 80s and 90s again, where it's just like, fuck, like this team is not something that we can be proud of. And so if
it's only been 2 of those
lose
seasons.
to Houston, we're down.
It has,
but it feels like 20. Yeah, it feels like 28.
Each one felt like 20, so we're more than.
But here's the other thing, and not to change subjects, but like the transfer portal has not gone well for Oregon State at all. We did pick up a receiver from Alabama, which was awesome. He was a 4-star going into college, didn't get a lot of playing time at Alabama, but the rest of the people that we've gotten in the transfer portal have been like Division II player. I think we got at least one Division III player. Like, it's compared, if you look at like what Wazoo's getting or Boise State's getting, like we are significantly under them. And I'm judging that purely based.
I gotta fight back on that for a second, because I did feel the same way. I did agree with you as things were unfolding, Benny. And I gotta say, I started to think about this as more, who are the portal players that would come to Oregon State right now? Who are they? Are they desperate? Are they money grabbing? Like, are they at the top of their game? And the answer to all of those things are essentially not helpful to Oregon State right now. If you go for the top guys, if you're trying to win the portal when you're at the bottom of the standings, I think that's a bad fight. And I didn't feel that way originally, because it felt like the portal was a good way to make, quick adjustments. But that was the portal for us when we were, near the top of the pack or even the middle of the pack. But being the bottom of a new pack, essentially as it stands, I think that the portal, if we went and got guys that we thought on paper would help, would cost money, but on paper would help. I truly think, and I'm not making excuses for it, but like, I truly think that we would have found a lot more duds than we did studs. And I also think it may be a bit of silent recognition that we don't have the money to play in the portal.
Exactly it. That is 100% what my thought was, and I think, taking a step back, Oregon State fans are rightfully jaded by the money in the portal. Not just because of us getting left behind or whatever, but with Malik Murphy, like, we paid him a ton of money. He ended up the season on the bench. Like, we've got,
but he's still
burned.
Here. Yeah, Malik hasn't left yet, right?
That is
he's
a good
not leaving.
point. So, okay, so are we still paying him that much money?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that's not like public knowledge, but like, we can't be.
The way
it's probably not
that, at least I understand. No, but the way I understand it is there is typically an agreement that's usually 1 year, because players and their agents benefit more off 1 year agreements. And that there are typically player options. If they stay, they can pick up a next year without having to have a new deal with the collective. The thing is also, we don't have a collective.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Why not? What happened?
Yeah. And
it's been so long, I forgot.
Like, people aren't
I'm sorry.
even sure who's handling like our NIL. Like,
which is surprising.
Like, Wayne Tinkle literally doesn't know who's handling our NIL as a university and how it's getting all handled. Our own men's basketball coach, in the midst of his season, doesn't know. And I'm not saying this to knock on Tinkle. I'm saying this to knock on the administration, that there's not, it isn't as clear as day how we're doing NIL right now. And so anyways, we don't know really how these contracts are even being fulfilled from the university side, given that they were signed with an entity that's no longer affiliated with Oregon State. I know they handed a lot over to the university as part of rev share, but were those options, were those early negotiations also part of it? I don't know that answer. I assume for the most part, yes, it's probably been a very clean transition from the athlete's perspective when it comes to like being an existing athlete with some sort of agreement with Damnation previously and Oregon State now. When it comes to using a collective to lure in players from a portal or to convince a potential commit to come to Oregon State, I think that that's where the water is still very murky. And I also think kids now who are maybe trying to prove themselves for a contract or renegotiate a contract for their next football season or whatever, like fall season that's already completed, they probably don't know who they're supposed to be talking to.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that the transfers coming in speak to that. And I think you're 100% right that like we probably didn't have an option to go out and get players that, were in the SEC and weren't getting playing time other than the connection that JaMarcus Shephard has to
Ryan Williams.
And for multiple reasons.
That was right. That was in his position group that he was coaching at his school.
Cover boy of college football 26.
So I think that it points to us not having money to spend. I mean, I saw a news article on Oregon Live the other day about us getting a transfer from Portland State. And it's like, man, I get what you're saying. Like, we're getting players that probably want to be here.
And those work sometimes.
Sure. Sure. I mean, look at Cam Ward.
Those used to work a lot better before the portal and NIL were combined, right?
Yeah.
When the portal was like, dude, I've kind of outgrown this situation.
Right.
I need to go onto greener pastures. And I'm just going there to play a better competition and play amongst peers that are on my level. Like, that used to be a thing with the portal. Mm-hmm. And you had to sit a year, right? Or but now with it paired with NIL, it's kind of.
I still think that is a thing, though. Like, that didn't stop existing. It's just
that it's an outlier.
So much of the attention is caught up goes to the portal move that's going to save you. So anytime an Oregon Live article comes out that's like, oh, Beavers land X player in the portal, the first thing people do is they look at what school he's coming from. They look at what his high school rating was. And there's not a lot of other
that goes through this process.
Sure. And I'm not criticizing you for that either. But I also think
no, I know.
But where we're at right now, I think is fairly predictable. I kind of do think of this in maybe a little bit too much of an optimistic way, where guys who were here last year, I'm devastated that the last time we saw Darius Clemens play football for Oregon State was that game at Boise State that you and I were at, Benny, because that felt like that was a game in a lost season where the team had nothing to play for, but played really well. And the way in which he played was this is a special guy. This is a dude who knows how to play and is in a situation where he's going to make the most of this. The injuries have just not let it happen for him. And to not see that career blossom as a Beav sucks.
Super disappointing.
And I still hope it happens for him. But a lot of these other guys too, I'm during, we talked about this during the season last year a lot too. There are guys who were playing hard. There are people there are guys who are not. And then there are guys who called out the effort. Jabari is one of them. Jabari leaving is one of those players where will continue to root for him and hope good things happen. But I want Oregon State to win as many football games as possible next year. I'm not that heartbroken over it. And I'm not that heartbroken over anyone else leaving. And those who are staying, I don't know if
Trent Walker.
Trent Walker, I would have loved it if Trent stayed, because I think JaMarcus is going to work wonders with a lot of these receivers, but they're all so young. They're so young. And Trent always had just, no pun intended, just a little bit more sauce. And I always felt like there was another level that Trent could get to, that either he or the coaching staff or the quarterback or wherever the offense wasn't putting him in position to access. So it would have been great to see him with this new coaching staff and see if that unlocked it. At the same time, I have no problem with him. You played your ass off these last 5 years. I have no issue with you getting a bag. I'm very interested to see if Malik Murphy is on this team. I know that the portal is closed now, but is the portal ever really closed? They keep making up these rules as they just go along. The portal is supposed to be closed, and Malik Murphy has not left. So if Malik Murphy,
it's super weird,
I was ready to move on from, and still wouldn't be that upset about if the program was we've amicably split ways with Malik Murphy. It'd be all right, peace to you, have a great career, hope it works out. It didn't work out here. But if there was a conversation after JaMarcus Shephard got hired with Malik Murphy that convinced Malik, who looked like he was having the least fun of anyone playing football ever for most of last season, that convinced him to come back and play with this new coaching staff, I'm buying tickets. I'm tuning in. at least early in the season. Let's see how this goes. And that's at least
early
someone
in the season.
That's someone who's at least taken a shit ton of snaps in meaningful college football games. And we're not just like brand spanking new head coach, brand spanking new, offensive coordinator, like all of this shit. Someone who at least has been through that fire and never wants to see that side of a 2-10 season again. So
I'm just saying,
I'm not going to try and sell Oregon State fans a bill of goods if Malik Murphy is a starting quarterback again, but I'm intrigued if he's a starting quarterback again. And I think we could do a lot worse given what you mentioned, the portal.
Well, and I think like, I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying. And maybe I'm more glass half empty right now on the program, but I think
I'm like a glass quarter full, to be clear.
Okay. I do have faith in JaMarcus Shephard. I think like with any new coach, there are going to be kinks that are going to need to be worked out. I really question the class that's coming in the transfer portal. And I think that a 2-10 season next year is much more likely than a 500 season, in my opinion. I think that next season is going to be incredibly rough. And JaMarcus Shephard is going to have to rebuild this program from literally the foundation back up to being, I don't have any faith that next year is going to be any different. In fact, I think it's probably going to be worse, if that's possible.
All right. Well,
one thing I want to mention with the wide receiver situation, obviously, this is the expertise of JaMarcus Shephard, and I have to put trust in him, not just about who he's bringing in, but maybe who he let walk and more.
What a pun!
Walker went to Mississippi State, right?
I don't know. I stopped following dudes when they bounce. But
yeah, I think he went.
Of all the position groups, this is from our good friend Isaac Streeter. Where our 2026 roster is coming from. Of all of our position groups, the wide receiver group has the least amount of returning players percentage-wise.
That's interesting.
It's a lot of freshmen.
And I mean quarterback too, but there's a lot less quarterbacks, right? Like, they're even 33%. Another 33% though for the wide receiver group coming in are high school recruits, which is the largest of every position group.
Right.
Which is a good sign that maybe JaMarcus is getting guys he wants to develop.
From Folsom
and then
High in California, there's like
also the largest of all position groups for Power 4 transfers. That will have 17% of our 12 wide receivers would be a Power 4 transfer. So while other parts of the team might look a little bit suspicious with the portal, that's one that I think looks like it was hit and hurt the hardest with the transfers leaving. But on paper, it's probably by design with what's coming in. So
we have Aaron Butler coming in from Texas too. He was also a 4-star coming out of high school.
And that was an iffy situation because he like posted something. He put it on his like Instagram bio or something, and then it was reported by the Oregonian, and then deleted it, and then it was like 3 weeks later or something.
No, I'm coming.
It was finally added back.
I'm coming. I just don't want anybody to know.
I'm coming. I just was trying to figure out who to negotiate.
I'm really ashamed about it, so I don't want people to know I play for this fucking team yet.
No, stop.
No, I know. I'm kidding. It's humor is a coping mechanism.
I mean, there is a world.
I'm not worried about the receiver position. I'm not worried about the receiver position. If that's something that we can all agree on, I'm not worried about receivers.
Good. So Terry's not worried about receivers.
Might be a little worried about your wide receiver, Benny.
Okay. What about tariffs?
Okay. No. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about the trenches, as I've been worried about since season 1 of this goddamn podcast, the offensive line. God, just the days of Joshua Gray on one side and Talise Fuaga on the other. God, remember we had that
69% returning.
Nice. That's a great percentage. It's great.
Yeah, but it's a great percentage of a terrible position
bad
group last year.
And also the next most behind wide receivers of power forward transfers.
Nice.
Offensive line. That's good. That's good. I think that's what all three of us said that last year, that we wish that the money would have been spread out amongst not just Malik Murphy, but bring in some offensive linemen who you can pay and really give them some protection.
And protect a shitty quarterback who can't throw over. That's the problem I'd rather have. No, I would like us to beef up the trenches, and I do think there's an opportunity there. But look, we're gonna spend the entire spring debating this roster like this.
We'll see.
And I'm interested, just because the portal's closed now doesn't mean that there won't be more movement. There's a lot of high school recruiting to go, like JP, as you mentioned. There are a lot of high school recruiting wins, especially immediately after Shephard was announced. And we talked about that during our last episode, which feels like it was 9 years ago now. But then, and those
7 a week.
There's a few more that trickled out over that time as well. And yeah, it's really hard to feel good about the long-term, longevity of the program, just given the nature of things now. But the fact that kids who had options coming out of high school were like instantly swayed by like JaMarcus Shephard has a head coaching job now. I want to go play for his program, because we were prepared for a blank national signing day. Bray got fired, and even a couple of of the top recruits, not that like Bray was pulling anyone. I don't want this to turn into like a strays at Bray kind of thing, but
strays at Bray
who decommitted ended up recommitting after Shephard was hired, and so there is interest at that level. So we'll see, and these players are going to decommit and recommit.
Yeah.
The performance on the recruiting trail at the high school level has exceeded my expectation of what I thought it would be the day that JaMarcus Shephard was introduced as Oregon State's head football coach, and Scott Barnes was at the table texting next to him during the press conference. Who was he texting? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I doubt it was Brent Blaylock. It wasn't JP for sure. No. JP's the only one who's on JP's on multiple lists, not just one.
It was me.
It was me.
Asking me to tell JP to please stop.
Just shut the fuck up.
Stop.
I don't know. I'm excited.
We'll see.
Speaking of over-promising money and Scott Barnes, I'm sure you guys have seen this, and I'm sure our listeners have already read about this, but I'm curious to hear what I know your guys' thoughts are. But the news about our budget. Our coach's budget for JaMarcus Shephard, and I do think that this does relate in a large way to rev share.
That we're at the bottom of the new Pac-12 when Barnes said we'd be at the top. Is that what you're asking?
He'd be the top quartile, which what human really uses quartile?
He probably uses fortnights when he talks about time too. I don't get it. But to answer your question,
Fortnite. When I said that, I meant
it was several fortnights ago when he said that too.
It was last fortnight.
And it was okay.
Fortnite is 14 days. So that's a lot of
Fortnite's 2 weeks.
Yeah. So to answer your question, unfortunately, I don't think it's surprising. I'm not surprised. I'm super disappointed. I think that, first of all, and maybe we can answer this question in a second, but I don't understand how the budget isn't already set. Any company that I've worked for, you set the budget well before the year starts. And so
you are aware you already have these of which athletic department that we are talking about on this podcast.
I'm just saying, right?
No. I'm going to say that they had to have been set. They are set. They were set.
Right. But they couldn't have been, because they had already had, and I guess I don't know how assistant coach contracts work, but would you all of a sudden just pay all the assistant coaches less if Bray stuck around? Like, that's what confuses me is that
So that's what, kind of why I brought this up for a discussion, because the flip side is we got what we wanted for cheaper. Like, if you could go buy a product of equal value and it's on sale, you're not going to be like, what? We didn't spend $5 on this. It was on sale for $3. It's ridiculous.
How dare you? We are honorable.
No one would do that, and I totally get
built, not
that argument.
Bought. God damn it!
But here's the part. Okay, so this is from the previously great Ryan Clark. Rest in peace. Now that you're covering the University of Oregon instead of Oregon State, you're dead to us.
Wait, is that for real? Clark's fully on the Ducks beat? That sucks.
Yeah.
Ryan's great.
You did a good job, but you did a terrible job at living and choosing to accept that beat.
We got to have Ryan on the pod to eulogize his time as fully on the Beavs beat and not on the Ducks beat.
Well, he was digging deep, too. He was digging into things we were digging into.
I know, because people probably think our invitations are malicious because we say, Brent, come on the pod every week. Ryan, come on the pod for good things. We will not be mean to you for going to the...
No.
We'll make some jokes. We'll make some jokes, but nothing,
nothing more than just saying you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will...
But we know you're not dead. You're on our podcast. I think you're not dead.
Right. We've had multiple eulogies on this pod. Like, there's been multiple funeral episodes.
For all I know, I'm dead. And this is just my hell. It's just talking.
And this is the upside
talking
down.
About our under budget spending.
We are Vecna's 12 vessels. Anyway, please continue.
Benny doesn't understand. So the late, great, now dead Ryan Clark, rest in peace. He did.
It's like parents are going to see this and be like, what happened to Ryan?
5 or 6 days before today, so a couple days before his passing, rest in peace. But he said that the Oregonian Oregon Live obtained OSU's assistant contracts via public records request this week. This week. I just want to emphasize this week. Anyways, he somehow is able to get this stuff in a week.
I forgot about this shit.
We still haven't gotten it.
Oh, we can get to that in a minute. Anyways, he got the fact that he was trying to see how it stacks up to Scott Barnes' $3 million budget, which again is proclaimed by Scott Barnes and is way under where we were supposed to stand in the conference based on other proclamations by Scott Barnes, but being in the top quartile. This was a few fortnights ago when he said that, but essentially, $3 million budget for Shephard's assistants, and that we have a $2 million budget for staff positions, including the GM, Aaron Hodges. Anyways, we are far under that still. This is before the MacIntyre hire, which I imagine puts us at about the set budget. But if you look at this as the comparisons, like it makes you go, what's the right market rate then? For one, like you start to question, like, what is market for this offensive coordinator? Did we overspend originally? Was that, some fiscal irresponsibility before? Is this fiscal irresponsibility now by reducing the budget and trying to catch up to our losses of poor decision making? But Mitch Dolan is making $400,000, and that is compared to essentially what Kefense Henson was making last year, or 2024, I guess, is what they had the records of. Kyle DeVan made $600K when he was with Oregon State for that one season. Ryan Gunnarsson 2 years ago was making $750,000, probably something similar. Didn't go down last year, so at least something similar. He was making nearly double, if not double, what Mitch Dolan is making next season. Same goes for Shephard's contract, far lower than what Trent Bray was making. Anyways, the whole idea of where's the NIL coming from, what do we have to spend in the portal? Did we have any to spend in the portal? Is that why these players are coming in? It all kind of ties back again to these promises of spending in the top quartile, promises of funding things like a Power 4, Power 5 conference program. And now we find ourselves with our head coach making $400,000 less a year than Kirby Moore at Wazoo, who had its own financial troubles.
I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand what it like. I just don't. Oregon State has the money. They have the money to pay the coaches. I don't get why they're tightening the budget all of a sudden.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's one person's salary that isn't going down and getting tightened, and that is Scott Barnes. That is the fact. It's going up every year. However, one trend I've noticed, including from JaMarcus Shephard, is in interviews, and it's been AD employees, it's been Scott Barnes, it's been JaMarcus Shephard, is the emphasis of Beaver fans showing up to games.
Fuck off. Shut the fuck up.
And I understand where the sentiment's coming from everybody, including Terry here, including people saying we need fans to show up, like JaMarcus Shephard saying we just need everyone to show up and this is a great place to play and we have a home field advantage, blah, blah, blah. Like, I agree. But also, you have to deliver a product worth watching and paying for.
That's on you. That's on you, Scott.
Yeah. And that goes back to Scott. And it's not just Scott about building a roster in a program. It's about how do you price your tickets? How do you make revenue streams where they don't exist currently to make up for lost revenue? Like, there are creative ways to not solely rely on wins and losses and butts through the door, right? Like, there are smart and efficient ways to do it. And the fact that that's what they're harping on makes me wonder if that's a directive from the top.
Sure.
It was to get people to start showing up again. And that is a cop-out. It's a cop-out.
It is.
100%.
And I have no patience for any sports executive that tries to do this very predictable and always hollow shift that's like, hey, it's on all of us. Like, we all need to come out and support the boys, right? Like, just shut the fuck up. Stop insulting the intelligence of Beaver fans who have been paying attention to this constantly and have read closely and have read every single one of your statements that end with like, the gloves are off, Beaver Nation, and now I'm like, it's on you.
The quest to win
to provide the product
in earnest now.
And every single year there'll be marketing calls to action and shit. Like, we're not saying that, like, whatever. It's on you to provide a reason to come out. That's on JaMarcus Shephard too. And I think the fan base will be patient with Coach Shephard and is interested to see how that story unfolds.
To see what he
can
do.
And even like the first year, like Jonathan's first year didn't go well from a wins and losses standpoint, and there are probably even moments in those games where, like, we can look back on it now and the team turned into a competitive team, so we're a little bit more forgiving to that 2-10 season that he had in his first year at the helm. You know, I'm so over this. Like, they poured money into the stadium, so fans have to show up. They didn't see realignment coming, so fans have to show up to, you know, like negate that.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Like,
yes, they
dog.
did.
And if they
Scott
didn't,
Barnes was well aware.
Dog.
But
Scott
here's
Barnes
the thing: is like the most
no one owes you shit,
and the most predictable cause and effect is the most predictable cause and effect in life is when a sports team starts doing poorly, people stop showing up. And for someone to suggest that you need to be the person, you need to be the fan base in 50 years of spectated sports in any sort of form that we see now, to buck the trend and start going to games when your sports team sucks, is not only a cop-out, but it's a cop-out that's insulting to the fans because they know exactly what's going on. Like, you're not fooling anybody by saying that. And he knows that that's not going to happen. He knows that those words are hollow. And so you have to dig in and figure out, like, why. And Oregon State's enrollment has gone up every single year since we've gone to school there. And so they do have
football
more
attendance does not reflect those growth numbers.
Well, it does from the student standpoint.
Budget. The football budget. Yeah, but they're paying tuition, right? Like they're paying tuition. And I don't know how Oregon State has their buckets split up, but you would think that higher tuition equals more money to be spent.
How about this? Kerry Eggers, 5 days ago, article about Wayne Tinkle, what's happening in the future for him, had this little nugget that interest in Oregon State men's basketball program seems to be at all-time low. The average announced attendance
was at that game the other day
for a dozen home games this season is 2,627.
There's no way there's more than 2,000 people a game at those.
That part hurts, but here's where I felt like a dagger in the heart. I'm told only about 500 season tickets were sold. 500. And again, I get it. I'm not clowning on anybody that didn't renew their season tickets.
No,
I wouldn't have. And it's not about this season. It's not about the last, 5 seasons. It's just like the trajectory of the program, the effort put behind the program by the athletic department to market it, to celebrate it, to make it can't miss opportunity to be at a game. It hasn't been there. And I mean, it's just, and then of course, Kerry Eggers great at contrasting things in his article. Says obviously for decades, Oregon State men's basketball's attendance was consistently high through the 60s and 70s. It was averaging 7,000 and 9,000 per game. In the 80s, it rose over 10,000. And for 6 straight seasons with Ralph Miller was over 10,000. And even still in the early 90s was over 8,000, 9,000. Even Craig Robb's high was 6,000 in a season. But Tinkle's teams have drawn averages of under 4,000 for 5 straight seasons.
This is unreal, the state of this athletic department. They just think about if it weren't for baseball, we would be the worst athletic department in.
Even that's not the
women's
same.
basketball got fucked.
They're off to a strong start in conference play.
They're still balling and men's soccer, but I'm not trying to belabor your point.
This would be the worst athletic department.
The 5 seasons were all under Scott Barnes' eye, and same with football. The changes in baseball, like getting donations, like a minimum donation from season ticket holders that have had seats historically, and changing that up and moving them around. There's just bad decisions, bad money grab attempts, and nothing to justify it on the field, on the court, to make those changes, or even just fiscally to make those changes.
No, he is saying, give us more money. Give us more money, and in return, we're giving you the worst product that is on the West Coast. Like, truly the worst product that's on the West Coast.
Worst schedule, worst product, worst retention, like...
No excitement. Like you had mentioned, the game day experience at an Oregon State basketball game is atrocious. It's been atrocious since we were in school. But
Sam Whiteley and Andy Lear to get Gill Dogs and Gill Beers, and then it's amazing. But that's all about company.
It's just like, it's funny because I know that we've talked about it over and over, but I do think that there is a tinge of sort of like Stockholm syndrome almost, that Scott Barnes like did what he could to salvage the Pac. I don't even know if what he did
was there like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but I think like there is still that sort of like
what did he do to defend the Pac? What did he do to protect Oregon State? That's what I'm saying. But he spun it as if he was like, if it weren't for Scott Barnes, then Oregon State would not have an athletic department.
When we were defending Scott Barnes on this podcast, it was very, very early realignment, and just about every program was in a good spot, or had at least within the last couple of years had done something great. In the case of men's basketball, this is, coming probably on the heels of the 2023 football season when we knew a realignment time bomb was ticking. And it was like, okay, if men's basketball needs to be the sacrificial lamb, well, it's fine to have a sacrificial lamb that went to the Elite Eight 2 years ago. And the football team was really fucking good that year.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, okay.
And also Scott Barnes, the information that was available made it seem like Scott Barnes was caught off guard, that Scott Barnes was holding steadfast because he knew the cards he had. Yeah, were better than the options on the table.
He literally had a heart attack a year and a half before.
But also now that he's played every card and there's nothing left, and every card was a deuce and it didn't work. Like he literally had nothing. He had nothing. And it was clear as day. The strategy, the perceptive strategy at the time was that he's finding the right path and that these decisions will lead that way. And maybe he did have those cards and just ate them. I don't know. But like he didn't do it. Didn't do it. We're not in a great situation conference-wise. I love the pack. I'm happy it exists. I'm thrilled with how it was rebuilt in the sense of it. The only other option was it being just eliminated.
Yeah.
Like, I think they could not have done a better job at rebuilding it with the options that were there if that was the only way for it to survive. We are not in a good spot. And now we're like lower on a rung than we've ever been because we're not even the top of the conference that we helped rebuild, that we should be dominating.
We're spending like the 7th most on our football coaching salary.
That is like why the realignment and the creation of the new Pac-12. Because Scott Barnes is in charge, I think.
So is it ineptitude, or is it because this is a slow descent to the inevitable and it's his buffer to say, his other leadership to say, let's ease into this transition that we have, that we're spiraling in, but let's make it look like we're sliding. Right. Like, and not that I want that to be even an outcome. And I'd be furious if that is where we are even at this moment. And if we get to that end point, I'm going to be, very, very annoying to the university. But that could also be a plausible thing. Like, there's really no other option for us other than what every fan of Oregon State doesn't want. We have to ease into it.
No, not at all. I think
spending at the salary floor maybe lowers expectations. I don't know. Sorry, Benny. I should not have interrupted you. I don't have a coherent thought to go with that.
I don't think that's the case at all because if you look at Washington State, they're struggling a little bit, but not to the extent that Oregon State is. And I think that you're put in an interesting position, that not an ideal position for sure, but you had opportunities to seize on. You're put into this new conference that you should be the leader of. That was why we were so excited, because Oregon State should be winning conference championships every couple years, right? In football. And in basketball, we were not thrilled, but we saw an opportunity with being in the West Coast Conference. It's like, it should be us, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and obviously like Gonzaga and St. Mary's above us, but like we should be following them and being at the top of the conference, right? And competing in the West Coast Conference tournament. And those two things seem so far out of reach right now. But those were the two things that if you're a good athletic director, you figure out a way to make that happen. And it starts with fighting for the funding, because it's very possible that President Murthy had the final say and goes, all right, well, athletics are getting this. And Scott, you have to figure out where to divvy the money to. But it's Scott Barnes's, it's his responsibility to fight for that money. And if you're going to be in this new conference, I get paying bottom of the barrel in the old Pac-12. We weren't going to compete with a lot of those schools in terms of finances, but like failing to compete with Colorado State and Utah State, like what are we doing? How it's as if Scott Barnes just didn't even go into that meeting and say, hey, we need more money.
Well, like it's for the record too, Oregon State's been operating at a deficit from the athletic standpoint, a deep deficit for the last couple of years, and
but a part of that is the stadium, right?
A little bit, but that debt is paid out over time, so it's not like a line item on a year budget for the whole sum. There's a operational loss of multiple millions, and I think 2 years ago it was like 48 or 50 million at a loss.
What are we spending money on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's mismanagement. It's just mismanagement. Yeah. I mean, purely mismanagement.
Can you guys?
And now, of course, you're not gonna get the ear of the president when you're not helping to like return the investment. Like,
yeah.
Can I mention a microcosm that's really fucking pathetic? Because during the entirety of this podcast, Oregon State men's basketball has been playing a game against St. Mary's.
Can I guess the score now?
Well, and it's one of the best teams will play. They're better than Oregon. They're by a lot. Better than a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Better than basically everyone on our schedule but Gonzaga. We haven't mentioned them once. We didn't even think to be watching this game while recording. Or, oh shit, we can't record right now. We're playing St. Mary's. Benny, guess the score.
Oh, okay, good. I was about to look.
There are 19 seconds left in the second half.
No, it's done now.
Okay, St. Mary's 87, Oregon State 51.
Well, JP says it's done now. My phone, now I think it's done. 81-51. Oregon State wins.
Damn, I was so close.
No, it was the other one. No, it's St. Mary's 81, Oregon State 51.
I was pretty fucking close.
A really crazy thing happened. And so it was 81-51. St. Mary's, and that's not even close to the worst loss on this.
No, this team
got blown out by Pacific.
This team's cooked. This team is cooked.
I saw the line.
Before we get out of here, I do want to give some flowers to women's basketball, and I'm not trying to do that just to put lipstick on a pig, but the fact that it's like, yo, we go to St. Mary's, and there's not even a fucking chance. There's not even a fucking chance.
No, we're playing on the road.
And it's just,
we did win one of them. We did win one road game this season.
Wasn't that the first road win since
45-26 in the second half? Not even St. Mary's leading scorer only had 16 points. This is St. Mary's bench.
So no one could guard.
6-5. Their starting lineup 16, 15, 12, 9, 6. Josiah Lake, 17 points. 81. After that, Joey Diaz-Graham off the bench, 7. Keziah Akezi, 7. Yohan Munch, 6. Just fucking field goals. Oh, my God, you guys.
What did we
14
shoot?
Of 49 from the field for 28.6%. 2 of 16 from 3 for 12.5%. We outshot them at the foul line, 21 of 27, 77.8%. Oh, you don't want to know what the rebounds are. Total rebounds, 42 for St. Mary's, 26 for Oregon State, 12 offensive rebounds for St. Mary's, 6 offensive rebounds for Oregon State. Turnovers are fine. Blocks, basically even. But remember how, for so long, it was just man, if we just get the free throws figured out. Because we shot 40%.
All we needed was 30 more.
Actually, we're a really good free throw team this year.
We have been good at the foul line. We just need to draw 300 more free throws a game. Because it's the only way we can score. Man, I know it's not because there aren't people who are working hard at trying to make Oregon State basketball a successful entity. But I'm so sick of the athletic department trying to put the onus on this is something that the fans can figure out to get. No, it's fucking not. The passion's been there. People care. This is on you. This is absolutely on you. So come up with a plan, put something together, and get it cooking. And maybe it's just as lucky as hiring the right coach. And I don't want to be the oh, fuck Tinkle kind of person. I do think, hey, the right end is on the wall and it's time. And I will still remember Tinkle fondly as a coach who coached his ass off, tried his best, was great with the media, and also gave us the tourney run that we were asking for about 20 years through other head coaches that did not accomplish what he did. And I think it is important to have that perspective, but I would like some new thing, like a new voice, new energy guiding the program at this point.
And what's holding us back from doing that years ago if needed?
The buyout. After maybe it's the Elite Eight
Money.
run cursed us by Barnes feeling like that buyout needed to be offered. But when you look at
that
women's
wasn't
basketball,
a bad decision, but
I don't even know. I'm not even necessarily it's a bad decision. He could have been riskier with it. And I don't want to even like suggesting this because I don't want to take credit away from all the work that's gone into Oregon State women's basketball being amazing and even riding this tide of realignment. I think Oregon State women's basketball has been more fucked than any program in the country in any sport over the last few seasons, given what they accomplished prior, what they were set up to accomplish, what they deserved, and what they were projected to be able to do with what Ruick had built. I do think it's fair to suggest, and I think this is fair in a lot of college sports and professional sports situations, when you look at like, oh, this program always has its shit together, la-di-da. Sometimes I think you just luck out with hiring the right coach. And they did that with Ruick. And they hired Ruick when they had the opportunity to do so. And here we are. And
also, if you recall,
entitles you to a floor, even when things are at its worst.
I don't have the exact message in front of me, but if you recall, we did ask Talia von Oelhoffen what went into your decision about transferring. Like, did you know that others would follow suit? Did others already have their mind made up? Or do you think that, you know, your decision impacted theirs? And she did allude to during the season, their final season, when they had made a pretty good run, everyone was excited about what was coming for years to come, that Scott Barnes came to a practice or a team meeting or something and laid out what was going to happen to the women's basketball program. And essentially at that point onward, they were all like out. So whatever he said to them, whatever vision he laid out, didn't land. And
I'm sure it was some bullshit of putting the onus on the players. When it's like the players don't work for the athletic director. The athletic director works for the players.
Yeah. Speaking of athletic directors, we can wrap up here because I know, Benny, you got to get to bed.
Benny has to be at work in like 4 hours. I'm so sorry, Ben.
We're up towards 90 minutes, but I think it's worth an update about the records request, and it'll be a very straight, matter of fact, legally protected update. So after our delay in receiving our request, the one that was funded by fans. Thank you again, everybody that funded it. I have not given up on it.
Hell yeah.
In December, the 2 delays in December, I believe. January 6th or something or 9th was the deadline that the university gave us for when the first batch would be delivered. And for all intents and purposes and legal obligations, they delivered a batch on January 9th or whatever it was of 19 records. And the 19 records were mostly, and these are all emails and communications, but this is the portion of the request of communications between different parties that we had named in the request. And there were some communications around for example, Blueprint PR announcement that was supposed to come from Scott Barnes and why that Blueprint deal was great and blah, blah, blah. And there was some people's feedback on the word choice and terminology and the phrasing, including Brent Blaylock's. And I liked seeing his notes. They're fun. He was not a creative writing major, an English major, clearly. But the funny part also was my own request was in the records request.
No.
Returned to me was a forward from Jana Harrison. It was a forward from Jana Harrison to, I think, IT or legal or somebody asking about no, just saying, hey, this record request came in.
Oh, okay.
Let me find it.
That probably needs to be in there, but that's still funny.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because of what it became afterwards. Come on, where the hell did I put it? See, but essentially, like I'm paraphrasing. This isn't legally tied. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember what it was, what record it was, but essentially paraphrase, not a legal, phrasing of exactly what was in the documents. We will post them, I promise. We're just waiting for something more substantial to post. Here we go. It was, hi all, we've received several requests regarding the Blueprint Sports Agreement over the last few days. Blah, 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 blah. I have a copy of the agreement and working on some language to accompany the release of the contract, which they didn't really ever release. They did give it to us. Janet did when we revised the scope at their request in October.
Jesus.
And then she said that about our request, it's quite extensive and will require a cost estimate. Take a look at the items and let me know how much time you think it will take to gather the records. But as usual, do not begin to gather anything until we receive payment. But it's essentially.
Right.
She's saying, that if the requester, this is later from Jackie Bruns, please see the attached note from Janet, preserving records as well as the full request that we have below. If the requester decides to pay the fee, interesting, then we will work to gather the requested data with each of you. And this went to Scott Barnes, Brent Blaylock, Sarah Alcano, and Diana Ulrey. So that was maybe the most interesting, but still not very interesting and maybe just expected record that was received by the batch one. And I would say we're waiting patiently and quietly, if you haven't noticed, for batch two, which Janet did initially promise would be delivered by February 20th. And
Jesus.
At first I was thinking, don't say anything, just wait, be patient. But then she revised her email, said, I'm sorry, I meant January 26th. 2 should deliver in 5 days, 4 days, probably if you're listening to this, the day it's out. However, I do want to still preach patience and caution everybody because all 19 records received in the first batch delivered a couple weeks ago, none of them had any reply or send from Scott Barnes, which is interesting, at least to me.
It's like the Epstein files.
And
maybe not.
And the majority of the records were
the timeliness of the Epstein files,
like other files. Maybe not.
Well,
in terms of them getting released,
he has someone else.
Taking a while
and send.
The other records that we got were all fringe hits. They were edge cases. There was, other than those 2 I've mentioned. So there's very little substantial information that's been included, and very, very insubstantial custodian records of those that were requested, specifically Scott Barnes and Brent Blaylock, and communications to and from Blueprint Sports, and to and from or about Damnation, Kyle Bjornstad, etc. So hoping for more in 5 days, but
can't make
don't
any
hold
promises.
your breath.
No.
Don't hold your breath. When other reporters are getting football coach contracts, recently signed football coach contracts
Immediately.
in less than a week, during the week.
Shows the amount of
And
respect they have for us.
It's now been nearly 4 months.
That's okay.
4 months since the record request went in. I would assume that batch 1 that we received 2 weeks ago was batch 1 of Infinite, and not batch 1 of 3. So
no, that's like less than 1%. That has to be.
Yeah.
15.
It has to be.
Yeah.
19 records. And thank you, Janet, for sending them. When you said you would. But anyways, more to come, but that's where it stands. So if you're wondering where the silence is, wondering where your money went, promise we're still working. Still waiting. Strategy in the silence. There was scandal in the silence. This is where we reclaim silence. This is what we're doing. We're reclaiming silence.
Silence is the scandal.
Yeah, like I learned in my negotiation training. Let me talk to Janet.
We're introducing our new high-level negotiator. Straight out of training. Well, thank you for that update, JP.
Yeah, I just thought,
and thanks for staying on top of it.
We've been out of the loop on the pod for a couple weeks, and in that time, we did receive something, and people are also wondering what's happening. And again, not worthy of. I mean, I could share it if you guys want to see them. I can post them on the site. Just let us know. I can send you the zip file. But I like to wait till there's enough substantial records to post it all at once and let others deem for themselves what they want to determine from them versus it being piecemealed. And I think that might be the strategy of the university. So patience is a virtue.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Well, great first episode back after a long layoff. You guys really fucking
$199. Are you out of your mind?
$199 out of your mind. And just, it's, I know we're on a number of different group chats and especially active our friend Aaron winning a natty and especially them beating Oregon in the process was that was a great big game. Part of this, but it's better to see your guys' faces and hear your voices, even if we can't be together in person. So happy to be here with y'all for episode 199 and beyond. And we'll be back. I don't know, probably we'll be back more regularly than we've been since December started. That's for goddamn sure. Maybe not every week as
yes,
we will. Maybe not next week.
This men's basketball team is really, really depressing. But the women's basketball team is good. Baseball is going to be good again for goddamn sure. And
they will.
Softball, get back up off the snide and make another run. That will be great for the spring sports for Oregon State. So we will be here at least fairly often throughout the end of winter and into the spring. And we hope that you continue to join us here on the Belligerent Beavs podcast. And the next episode will be our 200th episode. That's kind of cool. Most podcasts don't last 5 episodes. It's like 5% of podcasts like record a 5th episode or something like that. It's kind of crazy. And just it's really easy when you do it with your best fucking friends.
That's right.
Right, guys?
Yes. That's right.
Oh,
that is right.
It's been so long, so I'll probably do the ending of the show out of order. But thank you so much for rocking with us on the Belligerent Beavs podcast. This has been episode 199. We have been the Bebes, you have been the Beaver fam, and you have been excellent, and we appreciate you spending some time with us here in late January. My name is Terry Horseman at Terry Horseman on Twitter and Blue Sky, and at Terrence Horseman on Instagram.com. Joined as I always am by my aforementioned best fucking friends, including Benjamin Lawrence Sebastian Wehage with the big yawn over there. He's Benny with the good quaff. Woo! Benny bowl game, not this season, but maybe next year or the year after or the year after. Maybe the year after.
Yeah.
Someday.
Maybe more like that.
Benny Bedlam, because he's fucking crazy, folks. Benny Burner, Benny Blast Off. You can follow him across social media channels at Benny L1986. And the man on the ones and twos, editing the whole goddamn thing, keeping the ship steered in the right direction, is JP Bertram. You can follow him on Twitter at the Trill J. That's at the _Trill_J, because he's too Trill to be real, and at JP Bertram on Instagram. And you can just follow the whole show, for gosh darn sakes, at Bellig Beavs on Twitter, at Belligerent Beavs everywhere else. That means Blue Sky. That means Facebook. That means Instagram. That means TikTok. That means YouTube. I think most people experience the show on YouTube now, which is still crazy to me, but it is how it happens. I'm old. What I think doesn't matter. YouTube. Red Note, still too early to make a Red Note joke.
Our 1 year anniversary was like last week of being on Red Note.
Anniversary of being on Red Note to piss off the plebes. Who gives a shit? If it's a social media somewhere, we're in MySpace. JaMarcus Shephard's in our top 8. We're
but not Jamal Shephard.
But not Jamal Shephard, because that's not a real guy. So follow the show.
In my video game world.
BelligerentBeavs.com. Belligerent Beavs /merch. There'll be even more merch, I'm sure, as the year goes on. Hope everyone had a happy new year. Hope everyone's staying safe and warm and lovely out there. Thank you so much again for listening to us, and tune in again next week or the week after, or whenever we decide to record another great episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. And before you do that, remember, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, they categorically cannot spell ChopEm without hope. So ChopEm.
ChopEm.
Beavs back. Abolish ICE, bitch.
Fire Scott.